All right, in this video, we're going to talk about retirement plans, what they are, how to use them, what are their benefits, okay? And the first type of retirement plan I want to kind of talk about is IRAs, okay? IRA stands for Individual Retirement Arrangement, and these are retirement accounts that you can open regardless of whether or not you have a job. Anyone can open a traditional IRA as long as they have money that they've earned, okay? And the benefit is just like all other retirement accounts. Right? Remember that retirement accounts are tax labels. So we take a term, 401k, pension, IRA, whatever term we take, and we put it onto an account, that's a label that says, hey, you know what? IRS, go away. We're not paying any taxes on this account this year. Okay, that's what these names of these accounts mean. And they each have individual characteristics, but the primary benefit is tax savings. Okay? And so an IRA allows you to save money for retirement without having to pay taxes. Because if you don't use an IRA or a 401k or one of these other types of retirement accounts, you're going to have to pay taxes on the money that you earn every single year. And that slows down your growth. It gives you effectively a smaller interest rate that you're earning. And the effect of that can be quite profound. Okay? So a traditional IRA and a 401k, these are tax deductible plans. Okay, when this means that you don't pay taxes on what you earn now. Every dollar that you earn can go into the account without being taxed. So if you earn $100, if you don't put that money into a 401k or an IRA, the government's going to take income tax from that. So let's say you're in a 25% marginal tax bracket, you earn $100, the government's going to take $25 of that in taxes. And so if you wanted to invest after the taxes get taken out, you only have $75 to invest. Well, a traditional IRA and a 401k allow you to invest the full $100. You don't have to pay the $25 tax now. So that lets you invest more, which gives you more money in the long run. Now, the difference is that with a traditional IRA, you have to pay, and with 401ks, you have to pay taxes on anything that you withdraw. So after you retire, when you start pulling money out, you're going to have to pay taxes on the amount that you withdraw, just like any other income, okay? Now, Roth IRAs are interesting, okay? It's not a tax deferred, it's tax free. And what this means is you don't pay taxes every year on the growth, but you also do not have to pay taxes when you withdraw the money. What you do instead is you pay the taxes up front. You do not get that tax deduction. And so with a traditional IRA, if you earn $100, you can invest $100. With a Roth IRA, if you earn $100, you can only invest $75 if you're in a 25% marginal tax bracket, right? Because you got to pay the taxes up front. And so you wind up putting less money into the Roth and more into the traditional, but when you go to retire, the traditional IRA will have more money in it because it had larger contributions, right? You got to invest the taxes, basically, instead of paying them. But when you withdraw the money from the IRA, you're going to have to pay the taxes then. The Roth, you don't have to pay taxes. Okay, so what it looks like is this. Traditional IRA, no taxes at the beginning, no taxes in the middle, but you do pay taxes at the end. With a Roth IRA, you pay the taxes up front, but since all that money has already been taxed, it never gets taxed again. It's kind of like the question of, let's say you're a farmer and you have, a handful of corn seed. You can pay taxes on the seed and grow a smaller crop, but then you're done. You don't have to pay any tax on all of the corn that you've grown. Or that's the Roth IRA. Or if you have like a traditional IRA, that would be like, if you take your corn, you don't pay taxes on the seeds, so you get to plant all of your seeds and you have a larger field of corn, but when you harvest, that's when the tax man comes, and that's when you have to pay tax on the whole harvest. Now, a lot of times you get the question, okay, so which is better, traditional or Roth? Well, the answer is not as simple as people like to think. If you do the math, if you do the calculations and run all the math out, if you pay the same tax rate when you deposit your money as you do when you withdraw it, then a traditional IRA and a Roth IRA give you the exact same results. If the tax rate is the same when you deposit the money as when you withdraw it, they will give you the exact same result. Okay? So the question of which is better comes down to, when do you expect taxes to be higher? You want to pay taxes when the rate is low. So if you think your tax rate is currently low, like say for example, you're young and you don't have a lot of income, that gives you a low marginal tax rate, you probably want to use a Roth IRA now. Pay the taxes now while the tax rate is low. But if you're currently making a lot of money and you expect to retire, and when you retire your income's going to go down, that's going to lower your tax rate when you're retired. And if you're in that situation, then a traditional IRA will give you better results because you're in a high tax bracket now, but you're going to be in a lower one when you retire. So you need to think about first, what's your income going to be, right? Because the higher your income, the more taxes you're going to have to pay, the higher your tax rate. The other thing you have to think about is the political environment, tax law. So I'm recording this in 2020, and as of right now, tax rates are among the lowest they've ever been in the history of the United States. So that would suggest that, generally speaking, Roth IRAs are a better route for people to use this year. The great thing about IRAs, though, is you don't necessarily have to choose. You can have both. You can have multiple IRAs. You can have 3 traditional IRAs and 4 Roth IRAs if you want. The only caveat is you can only contribute to the annual limit each year across all of your accounts. So if the limit this year is, say, $5,000, then, and you have 5 different IRAs, you can put $5,000 in one IRA, but if you do that, you can't put any money in any of the others. You've reached your IRA contribution limit. Okay, you could put $1,000 in each of the 5, and then you're done. Okay, so that limit counts for all of your different IRAs. Okay, but some people like to switch back and forth. If we get a new president, and the new president raises tax rates, then they go in and they stop putting money in their Roth and they start putting money in their traditional. Okay, so that it works either way. However, as of this recording, Roth IRAs generally will give you the better result. Okay. Now there are Roth 401ks and Roth 403bs and all sorts of other types of Roth accounts. And if you see that word Roth, that just means we flip the taxes around. Okay, Roth means you pay taxes now, not later. So if you see a Roth 401k, that just means you don't get your tax deduction now, but you don't have to pay taxes when you withdraw either. Okay, you're paying the taxes up front. Okay, so if you see that word Roth, that just means flip the taxes around, pay the taxes up front, and then you're done. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about the action plan too that was in the readings. So the action plan is the order in which we're going to fund our accounts. Okay, in the first place we're going to put our money is our employer plan with a match. So if you have a 401k at work that offers a match, and that's important, it has to offer a match, okay, then that's going to be the first place you're going to want to put money, because that match is free money. It's totally free. All you have to do is save for retirement and they'll give you money. How amazing is that? Right? That's really valuable, and that's why it's number 1 on our list. Get that free match money. Now, once you've hit your 401k match limit, then if you want to save more, put that money in your Roth IRA. Fill up the Roth IRA. Once you reach your IRA contribution limit and you still want to save more, then the next place is to go back to your 401k. And go back to that and fill that up to its limit, because retirement plans all have limits, annual contribution limits. There's only so much you can put in them every year. That's to prevent the wealthy from getting lots of advantages from them. These plans are for the workers. Now, if you don't have a Roth and you don't have a 401k, then you can use a traditional account, traditional IRA. Only after you've exhausted all of those tax advantaged options, though. The IRAs, the 401ks, those are all tax advantaged. Once you run out of those, you max those out, then you can just create an open brokerage account and pay taxes on it every year. That's our option number 5. And option number 6 is to use a pre-retirement annuity or a life insurance product. Now, I'm going to talk more about these products in Unit 4 when we talk about risk management. But for now, look, we're just going to say that these products tend to be more expensive than most people need. And you wind up paying a lot of money for something you don't particularly need. Again, I'll elaborate that in Unit 4 when we talk about life insurance and annuities and risk management. Okay, but for now, just understand that it's the last place we're going to look to invest. Now, let's talk about why. Why is this the order that we're going to do things in? Okay, so I went to a retirement calculator. Okay, let's say you invest $5,000 a year from age 25 to 65, and you're at 9% a year, and your employer offers you a 100% match on your 401k. So if you look at this chart, you can see that with the 401k match, you end up with $2.8 million for retirement at age 65. Pretty good, pretty good. If you don't get that match though, if you just use an IRA or the 401k does not have a match available, you only wind up with $1.7, $1.8 million. So that match in this case is worth $1 million or so. That's why the match is number one on our list. The 401k with the match. Get that match money. Now, if the match is not quite as generous, so in this illustration, okay, we only have 50% match. They only match 50% of our money instead of 100%. You can see that our value in the account with the match is only $2.3 million. So we lost like $500,000 in value by making the match less generous. But you still have $500,000 more than just the IRA. Right? See, the dark blue is with the match, and the light blue is what your IRA would give you, or a 401k that does not have a match. Those give you the same number, about $1.8 million. Okay, so, number one, get the 401k match, because that's valuable. Even if it's not that generous of a match, that's not 100%, it's not fit, get that free money. That's valuable. Now, if you don't have a 401k match, okay, or you're getting down our list, okay, let's say you've maxed out your 401k and now you're thinking, should I use an IRA or should I use a taxable brokerage account? So we're on the same numbers in this scenario. $5,000 a year we're going to invest for 40 years and earn 9% a year. But this time, the taxable account in light blue is going to pay a 25% tax rate on earnings every year. Okay, these are the earnings that it's subject to. The taxation of an investment portfolio, by the way, is actually fairly complicated. We're not going to get into the details here. Just suffice to say that it pays taxes every single year unless it's sheltered in an IRA or a 401k or other retirement plan. Okay, so this taxable account, here you can see the dark blue, our IRA is up at about $1.8 million. That's where it was before on the last illustration. But this time, the taxable account in light blue, see how it's about $750,000? Those taxes, paying taxes every year, cost us about $1 million. $1 million we lose by paying taxes every year. As a very rough rule of thumb, and it's a very rough rule, but you can expect the taxes on your account to about cut in half how much you have when you retire if you pay taxes every single year. So that's bad, right? We don't want to pay taxes on our accounts. That's a lot of money to lose just because of taxes. So if you have the option, use the IRA, the traditional or Roth, either one. Okay? Use the 401k, the 403b, the pension plan, whatever retirement account is available through your employer, use it. Okay? If you're self-employed, it may be worth your time to hire a professional financial planner to help you decide what type of retirement account to set up for yourself. Because it gets a little bit more complicated when you're self-employed. But there are definitely plans for self-employed individuals, and a professional can help you line those up. Now, should I pay taxes? Because a lot of people have taxable brokerage accounts. They have their 401k, they have their IRA, but they also have a group of investments at their brokerage house that they're paying taxes on every year. I'm here to tell you that is not necessary. You should not be paying taxes. Very, very few people in this country should be paying taxes on their investments. Let's look at why. So let's assume for this scenario that the 401k contribution limit is $20,000 per year per person, and the IRA contribution limit is $6,000 per year per person. So if you're unmarried and you do not have a 401k available at work, you're going to be able to contribute $6,000 to your personal IRA. And so total, you're going to be able to save $6,000 a year. Now, if you're just a single individual, $6,000 a year, if we look at our previous slides, gets you to $1.8 million for retirement. That's pretty good. That $5,000 a year gets you to 1.8, so $6,000 will get you even further. Okay, that might be enough all by itself. However, there's a chance you might need more. Okay, but I mean, $6,000 gets you a real long way. However, if you're a single person and you have a 401k available at work, then you can save $20,000 in the 401k and $6,000 in your IRA. So total, you can save $26,000 a year without a single penny of it being subject to taxes. $26,000 a year. That's like $2,400 a month. How many people have $2,400 a month to spare for retirement? Does your case study client Jake, does he have $2,400? Not even close, right? Not even close. So if you have access to a 401k, very few people have enough money to be worth, to need to save more than these limits provide. Now, if you're married, it gets even better. So if you're married, but neither one of you has a 401k at work, you can still contribute $6,000 to spouse one's for IRA and $6,000 to spouse two's IRA. For a total of $12,000 a year you can save for retirement. That's $1,000 a month. That's a lot of money. If one of you has access to a 401k, then that spouse can save $20,000 plus $6,000 in their own IRA, and the other spouse can still use their own IRA as well. So you have two IRAs at $6,000 and a 401k at $20,000. So a married couple with one 401k could save $32,000 a year, not a single penny of which is subject to tax. All of that is sheltered. All of that is deferred. There's no reason to pay taxes. The only way you need to pay taxes on your investments every single year is if you want to save more than $32,000 a year. What kind of households can afford to save more than $32,000 a year? Rich ones? Yeah. You got to make a lot of money to have $32,000 to spare. And if you both have 401ks, two individuals, each with their own 401k and each with their own IRA, is $20,000, $20,000, $6,000, and $6,000, $52,000 a year that a married couple who both have access to a 401k can save before any of that money should ever need to be taxed, except on withdrawal, of course. But we're not worried about taxes when we withdraw because we're going to have to pay taxes either when we put it in for a Roth or when we pull it out for a traditional account. So we're going to have to pay taxes sometime. What we're really most concerned about is not paying taxes in the middle while it's growing. Because if you pay taxes in the middle while it's growing, you're going to get the bad results that we saw here. Right? Remember, we lost $1 million. The reason that we lost this $1 million in this account is because we were paying taxes every single year on the interest that we earned. And that causes a big, big problem. Okay? So that's why the 401k with the match is our top option. The Roth IRA is next. Then go back to the 401k. Now, I talked about taxable accounts and insurance, life insurance and annuities as investments. Okay, those can be helpful. Those can be useful. But the only time you need to use them is when you want to save more than these contribution limits. And there's not a lot of households that can afford to do that. So if you're in a position where you want to save, let's say you're married with one 401k available, if you want to save more than $32,000, then you have enough money that you really should hire a professional to help you figure out the next best step. Okay? Because if you have $32,000 to spare to save and you want to save even more than that, then it's well worth your money to hire a professional to take care of that. However, very few people reach that level of income. I'm not even close. I could never even imagine having that much money to save every year. And so it's not a problem for most people. Okay? But if that's you, if you're fortunate enough to have that much income, to be that high income, then hire a professional to help you out at that point.